Hello, tea family. How are you this evening? I feel like I'm kind of in the background here with all the stuff in front, but that's okay. We have a lot to talk about today. We are going to be talking about Summer Kiss again. Just a reminder, it's only available June, July, and August, and we are now in August. And so I do want to make sure that you're aware of that. Today, we're going to be talking about a little bit of sweet heat, some cool vibes, and even some unexpected ways to enjoy this summer kiss with pairings, a mocktail demo where I might actually have 3 different recipes to share. Questions. So please feel in the chat or the comments. Today, I also will warn you that we had a significant amount of we are having an internet issue for whatever reason. There's no storms in the sky. Everything is good. But for whatever reason, our internet has caused us a high amount of stress today. So I am hopeful that this is not affected by that. I hope my handy dandy assistant will be able to kind of monitor everything and see how it is going. But we are a little bit anxious about that today. So bear with us. If it goes down, I will either come right back up or keep recording, but we will do our best to make sure that we don't have any internet issues today. Hopefully that will affect us. This is one of the drawbacks of living out in the country and not near a city or anything like that. And unfortunately, it's a big one when you're trying to go live. All right. So, we wanted to talk about Summer Kiss. So, as you recall, Summer Kiss is a loose leaf tea. It helps if I don't block everything. But it is made with peaches, green tea, and red raspberry leaves. And I always tell people do not expect this tea to taste like peach juice. It is a light green tea with peach and the red raspberry leaves. It is not supposed to be a peach juice. So I wanted to make sure that I'm really upfront about that in the past. It has a nice, delicate peach flavor to it. And that's one of the reasons why it brings a little sunshine and, this perfect for like a barbecue. You're hiding inside of the AC. I don't have the AC on right now, but I know several of my friends will have the air conditioning on right now because they like it really cold. I am not like that. I would prefer 80 degrees or 83 degrees and not have my AC at all. But we're going to dig in a little deeper than the last time we talked about this. We're also going to talk about some unexpected pairings for today. And so we are going to go ahead and get started. And one of the things you're noticing is I'm not making the tea right away. Normally I dive right into the mocktail or the hot tea that I'm going to make, but I'm not going to do that today. Part of that is because I'm saving that. I want to talk about a couple of other things first. So first of all, there is the tea. You can see the peaches, you see the green tea, a little bit of red raspberry leaves in there. And it is really good. So if you were brewing this tea, you're going to want to be about 170 to 175 for your water. And then you're going to brew it because it has freeze-dried peaches in there. And we do get these peaches literally within 48 hours of them being picked. We have a friend that literally they pick them that day. Our friends pick them up and they come in. And we never know exactly what day our peaches are going to come in. And the reason we never know what day our peaches are going to come in is because that orchard owner in Colorado, they actually will tell our friends, okay, we've got about 3 or 4 days left, so come pick them up on this day. And then our friends go and they literally pick them when the orchard owner says is at the peak of flavor and that's the perfect time to harvest. And then they go and they get the peaches and they drop them off to us. And then we immediately, within 24 hours of that, usually that same day or that afternoon or evening, depending on when they come through, we are already slicing, dicing, and putting them in the freeze dryer here. And we do that so that you're getting this tea, and you can look, the color is really clear there. You can see all the colors like you would in a regular peach right there, because it gets locked in and it has such incredible flavor when we do it like that. So what I did do earlier is I brewed this tea 170 to 175 for the water. Now this, because it does have the freeze dried fruit in it, obviously we're going to brew it for 2 minutes for the first brew, 3 minutes for the second brew, and 4 minutes for the third brew. I did that already and then put it in this container right here and put it in the refrigerator. So now it is nice and cold for when we get to the part where I start making some mocktails. Like I said, I'm going to give 3 recipes. I'm only making 1 mocktail today, but I'm giving you 3 recipes, all with this summer kiss. One of them you have seen before, but I'm doing it a little bit different. And so I wanted to share. So thanks for joining us. Don't forget to say hello, and don't forget to, I see Stephanie and Kim and a couple of other people are there already. Say hello, let us know what you're drinking. But let's start by talking the flavor of the summer kiss. So this, again, green tea, peaches, the freeze-dried peaches, and the red raspberry leaves. The red raspberry leaves don't add a raspberry flavor. They actually just add a depth of flavor. They literally bring out that green tea and that peach flavor. So I see Dominique and Diane are here as well. My handy dandy assistant's making the comments for me. So Diane is drinking Summer Kiss hot and cold, and that's it. I would drink this hot in the morning, and on a hot day, iced is the way to go. So, uh, again, hot, if I'm drinking it hot, straight, I don't think it needs sugar. I don't think it needs anything added to it. But if I'm drinking it iced, and let's say I want something a little bit sweet as a treat at the end of the day, or as a like kind of a dessert tea, I might add a little bit of honey. If you like mint, that would be a perfect time to add a little bit of mint in there too. I see I got another Summer Kiss. Summer Kiss is a popular blend. I love that. So let's talk about some pairings. Let me give you the big ones for right now. First, a surprise pairing for you: brie and the Summer Kiss tea. So a brie cheese, the creamy buttery cheese is going to mix with the tea, kind of like balancing each other out. Surprise barbecue pairing would be like a barbecue pairing would be like a smoky grilled chicken, or even the ribs. We kind of talked about that last time, but it's still, the fruitiness is going to kind of cut through some of the richness of the meats and the spice of the palate. If you're trying to have something really light, like a fresh fruit salad with basil, a fresh green salad with strawberries and feta in it, even, this is really going to bring those flavors out. But if you really wanted to do something special, let's talk about some more complementary pairings. Let's see. If we eat French toast and drink Summer Kiss with, no, I'm not even going to finish reading that comment. Okay. If we really want to bring this out, a lemon herbed grilled chicken, or chicken skewers. The tea is going to kind of echo. You could the citrus and the peaches are going to kind of complement each other. So you're going to have that, really going to lift maybe a grilled shrimp with lemon butter. Again, you're going to have that citrus and the very light shrimp or fish with, so it's not going to overpower. I might do this with create a vinaigrette with this and do an arugula and maybe goat cheese salad. The idea is you're going to get kind of those zesty flavors along with the sweetness of the tea and the lightness of the tea. Now, this Summer Kiss, anytime you want to pair it with just straight fresh fruit and like a fruit salad, pineapple, mango, mint, if you like that, any of those kind of tropical flavors, they're all going to pair and complement really well. But if we want to contrast, like this is where we were talking about the spicy barbecue ribs or the pulled pork, especially with a mustard or a vinegar base, the tea is going to kind of cool a palate, add the sweetness, which is going to reset after the bite. If you are a vegetarian, maybe that sweet chili tofu skewer, and that is going to be complemented again by the peach. especially if you're using a peach wood to smoke anything like a smoked fish or a smoked chicken or a smoked meat. Another one I would pair with this, again, contrasting flavors, would be a fried chicken with like a hot honey glaze. So kind of like that little bit of cayenne and honey, and make that glaze on the outside. So you've got that kind of the sweetness of the chicken and the rest of that fried chicken, but you get the hotness of that honey, that spiced honey blend, and then you get the peach bringing it in. Those would be some like really contrasting flavors. The other ones that I would say is any kind of grilled stone fruit. So grilled plums, nectarines, peaches, maybe do like a balsamic drizzle on them. And so whether you serve them hot as soon as that was done, or if you chilled it after, the caramelization of the fruit is going to deepen the flavor of the fruit and really, again, complement that cheese flavor. Cheese board, I'm going to go with like brie, Gouda, maybe a ginger jam. Sip the tea in between the bites to kind of get some really unexpected flavors. Uh, let's see. Some charged zucchini. Again, I would do like a honey lemon zest over that. The tea will play off kind of like a lemony, salty cheese really, really well. And then you get the bite of the zucchini. So there you go. There are some pairings that you may not have thought about. I do really think about these things deeply and like what's going to flavor wise, what's going to happen. But let's go ahead and let's talk about our first recipe. So this one, I'm just kind of, just for the sake of argument, calling a summer kiss spritz. And what you would do is make 6 ounces of strong brewed summer kiss tea, and then have that be cooled. So what do I mean by strong brewed? I mean, instead of 1 teaspoon or 2.5 grams of tea to 6 to 8 ounces of water, I would add 2 teaspoons and make it double strong. Because remember, we're going to add more tea to make something stronger. We're not going to brew it longer because we don't want it to become bitter. 2 ounces of a blood orange juice. It's going to have a different depth of flavor. It's going to bring out different notes in the mocktail. An ounce maybe of like a honey simple syrup or an agave. Sparkling water or seltzer water to top off with like an orange slice. Again, mint pairs really, really well with this. I would also be inclined to drop a couple of raspberries in there. Build it over ice, top it with the bubbles on top, and boom, you've got a great, unusual summer mocktail. Not a lot of people go ahead and use a blood orange juice. And like I said, it's going to add such a depth of flavor. So today, I am about to start making. All right, I just had to check, make sure there weren't any other comments. I am going to make some of our summer kiss mocktail. Now, it still needs a name, people. It needs a real name, so I'm going to say the handy dandy assistant cannot help because that can get us danger zone. But like, if we can think of a really good name for this one, and this is very simple. I do need the ice cubes, though, handy dandy assistant, please. We're trying to keep them in the freezer as long as possible so they don't melt all over the counter. Put this to the side and put this to the side. Okay. Okay. And I'm not going to put a lot in here. Because I don't need to put as many in here. But we will go ahead and add some in because our tea is already really cold, but I like to do a little bit. All right, like that. All right. Now, we're going to pour about 1 cup of Summer Kiss. And you'll notice Summer Kiss almost looks like I'm pouring water. We have actually had Summer Kiss and Sunlit Orchard at events, and people are like, is there actually tea in this? And then they taste it and they taste all the flavor, and it's unexpected because they're kind of anticipating water for whatever reason. All right, ginger ale. You know that I prefer this. You could do like a ginger beer or a seltzer water. I only put a splash in because we know that it will create this big bubbly mess, but I do want to put them in there. Now, last time we used an ounce of peach nectar, and we talked about you could use a nectarine nectar, or you could use a different nectar, or you could use fresh peach juice. But one of the other things that I talked about was that you could use fresh peach, and that's what we did here. We just kind of muddled up, and that's what I'm doing is going to muddle up some of the fresh peach. So you can see it doesn't take much. We got this peach. It is like story of my day. um, can I get like a fork because I still want to muddle it a little bit more? Thank you. Just a regular fork is fine. Okay, so this will give us some fresh peach juice, and because I'm doing it right before I mix it, it's going to be a really like I smell peach so much right now. But this will be so that's probably about quarter to half of a peach, depending on how sweet you want to make it. We all know that I don't like things super sweet, but muddle that. That's going to take the place of your nectar or your fresh peach juice, and it will really that's why I said we're making it a little bit different this time because we really want to kind of get that flavor in there. All right, shake it up. Watch Lisa make a mess. There it is. Can't do it without making a mess. I don't know what it is. And then you'll see it's really light, but you see kind of a light peach color. Okay. And then you see a light peach color. Then I'm going to add a little bit more just so I get like a full ounce of the ginger ale. Now, I do use that as kind of some of my sweetness, but I'm going to say, and then this time, I actually remembered, just take a little slice of peach since we muddled it up. And I have a cute little Cheers mocktail. And I am telling you, it is just as good and very, very similar to the mocktail that we had the beginning of June. I do see that there's a question, can we put the muddled peach in the glass? Absolutely. I put it in here because I really wanted to shake up and mix that flavor. And you can see how this is not like a clear white anymore. This is a very light peach color, but there it is. Now, I told you I was going to give you 3. Anybody want to guess what the third option for this is? I'll give you a second. Put it in the comments. Can you think about it? Did you see what I just snuck over here? You may have seen what I just snuck over here, but sometimes you want to do something different. And when we are really wanting certain flavors, especially in the summer, we want to think about things that are going to give up. We want to use that fresh fruit while it's in season, and that's where we do something like this. Now, my other option that you could do is a plum. You could dice up a plum. You could use some plum juice by juicing it a little bit, but plum would work really well in here. However, I would for sure cut back because when we have a plum, it's going to really give it kind of a different flavor, much more summery, much more vibrant. But there are some pros and cons in this. Excuse me. Okay. While some muddled plum in here would be very appealing, you're going to have to watch things like texture and things like that. So, the combination, like I said, screams summer. The green tea is going to pair with the fruits. The plum is going to add some depth of flavor. It's going to add a little bit of tartness to balance the peach. I would particularly go with some diced plums and some diced peach in the bottom. Now, that's going to be really visually appealing at the bottom of your glass. It's really going to make your mocktail have that handcrafted feel. Now, this is where you're going to want to adjust for sweetness or fizz. How much of the ginger ale are we going to even want that? Are we going to want a little bit more? And so you're going to have to kind of like, what do you want it to taste like? How plummy, how peachy do you want it to come? The thing is, you're going to have to watch because there are some cons and considerations when you do this, and that is if you're using peach nectar and the plum, they're going to pair. They're all a sweet fruit, and so it could become overpoweringly sweet really, really easy. This is why if I was doing plum, I would do the diced plum and diced peach. It's going to be less sugary, and you're not going to drown out the nuanced green tea. You could even add, instead of the ginger ale, again, this is where you might want to go with like a sparkling water or a seltzer water, because it's going to not have the same sugar content as the ginger ale. I love plum. Like that plum. Apple is my absolute favorite fruit. Strawberry is probably a second, blueberry, and then we're right at plum. So it's in my top. Remember, we want to have that. We don't want to overpower the tea by having just like a fruit juice drink. So one of the ways to fix that is to double strengthen the tea, like I talked about before. And you're going to want to use twice as much. Now, the other thing to consider is if you're making this in a big batch, is you might have some textured issues with the diced plums and the diced peaches, because while they're delicious, if they sink and get mushy, it may not work how you want. This is one of the reasons why we suggest you muddle it, or you could use really thin slices, but I like the idea of muddling it or using it as the garnish after, because that way you're not going to have that kind of sink to the bottom idea. The other thing is if you're at an event, remember the fruit and the texture. It could turn cloudy, like this is cloudy, this is no longer clear. So keep that in mind if you were look visually, and that's where you maybe you're slicing up some fruit on the top of your punch so you don't necessarily notice that it's a little cloudier. The other option is to serve it immediately or strain it as you serve it to get that clarity back. Again, I've been talking about mint, and I am not a huge mint person myself. If you know me personally, you know I'm really not a mint person. But mint would pair really well with this. Something unusually you could think would be even some rosemary. It's going to have a nice herby note. The other thing is you could put this in a martini glass type of thing, and you could do like, I wouldn't do salt, but like I would do a sugar rim on this, and then make it much more citrusy. That's when I might add some straight lime juice or some straight lemon juice, but I would actually prefer lime juice in this just to boost the acidity a little bit. And that is going to kind of balance it really, really well. So those would be some different ideas. So, but that's one of the reasons why I would skip that peach nectar in the recipe. And I would probably add some plum to it. But there's 3 different mocktails, all coming from the same tea. Very simple, not a ton of ingredients, which is always nice. You don't want to have 15 ingredients just because you wanted something a little bit different. And think about what you like. Do you like pineapple? That would pair really well. Think about what goes well with peaches. Raspberries go really well with peaches in my brain. Tropical fruits like mango or pineapple or plum. Peaches and plums in my brain, for whatever reason. I know a lot of other people don't put them together, but I do. They're probably because they come out around the same time in the stores where I grew up. And so I really, really love those. And they just scream summer to me. Like that's summertime fruit. Whereas apple is a fall fruit and pear is a later fall to winter fruit, different things like that. But this is a really fun mocktail, and it's the kind of thing you can just brew up a cup and have it, or you can brew up a bigger batch. And let's face it, the summer is the time we're grilling the meats, we're doing the barbecues, we're having more of those kind of fruit-based salads or the lighter salads with the vinaigrettes and things like that. So keep that in mind. That's one of the reasons why it's a great pairing. Now, we also love to have our fruit when it's kind of in season. So just wanted to kind of talk about that. Uh, any questions so far that anybody has about any of the pairings I've talked about or any of the mocktails I've talked about? Go ahead and please put them in the comments or the chat. And I will be happy to answer them. That tastes really good. I'm just gonna have to watch out for the handy dandy assistant because typically he likes to steal stuff from me. So just don't want to let that happen. Okay. 70 loves the rosemary. Yeah. So the thing is, we tend in our brains to think rosemary. Oh, that's a spice that I use with like Italian food, or that's a spice that I use for this or that. And we don't tend to think about it for our drinks, but it really adds a brightness and like an herbiness that's got an intensity that some of the other herbs don't, that really pairs well when you get the contrasting flavors. I see Kim says, how long is Summer Kiss available? It is only available in June, July, and August. So we are now on August 3rd. So we're 3 days into August. It's available through the end of the month. And then it's back and it is back, and it will not be back until June of next year. So keep that in mind. Just throwing that out there. Okay. So I wanted to make sure that I had talked about that. I did remind you. Any other questions as I go along, go ahead and put them in. So I kind of talked for a second about like teas and spices and different things like that. I wanted to talk about some different ways of cooking with Summer Kiss and some more unusual ways to use the tea or what to serve. Uh, to complement it. And I do the pairings, but like just what else could we use it? So you could break this tea up and you could do like make almost like a salt rub with it. So you break it up and you rub the tea into the salt. And then you're going to have that peach and that green tea in your salt. So you get the saltiness versus the sweetness. And then use that how you would use any kind of salt rub on some of your barbecue meat and things like that. So you're gonna have just another layer of flavor. You could infuse this in honey. Now, remember with honey, we want to stay under 140 degrees to keep all the best benefits of the honey, but you could do really a low and slow, just kind of keeping it so that you've got a warmness to it and add the Summer Kiss. I would crush it up a little bit, not enough to turn it into dust, mind you, but just a little bit, and then just kind of keep it warm. If you go, just barely a simmer. We don't want to get to boiling if you wanted to go a little bit hotter, but that's going to really infuse the honey with the Summer Kiss tea. And then you've got a Summer Kiss honey that you could use to make um, honey simple syrups or that kind of thing. And again, we're adding flavor when we're talking about that spicy honey. So maybe you take a little bit of the Cajun seasoning or a cayenne pepper, and you're adding it to the honey, and you add also the Summer Kiss. You're adding different layers of flavor to put on that fried chicken or even a grilled chicken. One of the other things is I mentioned before, this could be used in a vinaigrette. So a vinaigrette is really simple. It is vinegar, oil. Typically, I would use olive oil or a really healthy oil like that. And then it's got some herbs and spices in it. Well, don't be afraid to use something like Summer Kiss, maybe a little bit of mustard, and then you're going to have even more of that flavor. So when you drink your mocktail while you're having that salad with the vinaigrette that has even more tones of the tea in it, you're really going to be able to pull it out more. Another one is you can always, and we talked about this earlier this summer, you can always use the teas to make a sorbet, a granada base, or even an ice cream. So I want you to think about different ways to enjoy your teas other than just drinking them. Drinking them is fine. That's my favorite. But I want to always make sure I'm giving you other ideas too. So if you're about to make some baked goods, I would say you could add this to like some lemon poppy seed muffins. Again, you've got lemon and peach, the poppy seed, the sweetness, a ginger shortbread cookie, Vanilla cupcakes with some candied peach on the top. Maybe even some white chocolate bark with some like dried cranberries, maybe some candied ginger, and some candied peaches on top. And that just those are the kinds of things that I think of because I think of having, oh, you could do like a mini mocktail party where people could you put out the ingredients, you pre-brew the tea and you've got your tea, and then you have some diced plum and you have some diced peaches, and you grab your ginger ales or some sparkling waters and different things like that. You set out all the ingredients, and then you have a mini mocktail and treat pairing party, and then you have little one size bites or two, but you may have those the 2 bite brownies, but like you make some 2 bite chocolate bark with the candied or some peach um cupcakes or some different flavors that of the different baked goods that are just the lemon and poppy seed and things like that. And then see what you like. Have a little party, invite some people over. Summer's a fun time. If it's like it is today, you can even sit outside because it's not too hot. But like, it's just one of those things like I tend to think about like that kind of a treat party where you've laid out all the ingredients. Maybe you have a charcuterie board on the side where you can have some of the heartier meats and things like that, and then just host it. Have some friends come over and try some of the recipes and try some of the pairings and see what you like best and what other people like best for flavors and what contrasts and things like that. I do want to say again, I talked about it earlier, but that you can use the summer kiss in while you're smoking the ideas. So you can kind of take the wood that you're going to smoke with or the wood chips. You mix some of the summer kiss leaves in there, and then it's going to create some subtle flavors to add to things. Tea is delicious, and I love to sip on my teas. And I love to drink them, but it's not limited to that. There are so many other things that you can do with it. I always want to just open your minds to what else you can do. Now, I do have a couple of announcements. Again, any questions, put them in the chat or comments. I've got a live sale that's going to be on Friday, August 15th at 7 p.m. Central Time. I've already talked before. I'm going to have a mocktail box. Our mocktail box is actually going to come with yep, the name for it just escaped my mouth. A little jigger and a cocktail mixer, and it's going to have some teas in there and some other things so that you can make some of the mocktails. Because every once in a while we do that. Every couple of months we're making some kind of mocktail. And holiday season is coming up. A lot of entertaining typically happens in there. Perfect time to get that. So I am really excited. The tea pampering box that I talked about last week, the soap is done. It looks beautiful. My friend went ahead, and if you follow Wildflower Wish soaps, she has put together 3 different videos that go through her process of how she used the tea to make the soaps, putting the soaps together. She added some other things in there, but when I was talking to her, even just this morning, we were talking about like, so what does it smell like and everything like that. And she's like, it smells very similar to the tea, maybe a little bit more of a jasmine note, but it smells really similar. I've seen what it looks like with the slicing and everything. I'm super excited. I can't wait. As soon as they are cured and I can get the soap, I am going to show you the box with the soap and everything in there, but I am like super excited. She is too. My guess is she might make a second batch just because she really liked it too. And I did buy that whole batch so that I can do up those tea pampering boxes. So the tea kits, I just got some infuser teapots and some other little accessories to put in some of those. So those will be there. Again, the live sale is going to have these gift boxes and these different things, these different products that are coming. It'll be your only opportunity to get them then before we start the season. I am only making so many boxes up. I think I'm only making like 4 mocktail boxes in total. And so you'll have first dibs. And if all 4 sell out, then all 4 sell out because I've already pre-ordered all our ingredients. Now, I talked about that a lot last week, but I do have something and I'm ready. Everybody get ready to start typing, okay? I was thinking about this. I've been thinking about this for a while. I've actually wanted to do this for about a year and a half. And if you know what my schedule has been like up until a couple of months ago, you know why it hasn't happened yet. But I would like to do a custom tea blending class. And so what'll happen is people that sign up, they will get a tea blending box kit that we are going to put together that's going to have a lot of different ingredients. I will, my intent is to do it live here for the people that are local, where we have a lot of our clientele and everything, to be able to be it in person. I'm pretty sure I can grab, I know a building that would let me use it. The other thing is, I would have a component if everybody's online that we could just do it online as well. But if that is something that that you would want to do, you can put yes or no in the chat or comments. And then if it's yes, when would you want to have it? Would you want to try and have it in like October or November, or would you want to have it in like January? So go ahead and say yes or no if that's something that interests you. And then if it's yes, when in the calendar year would you want to do that? So, and while we're talking about different things coming up, here's your chance, since you're on the live with us, to answer one more question. I've been playing around. There's a reason there's a plum here, and there's a reason there are plums in my freeze dryer right now. I am potentially working on a plum tea for the holiday season. Uh, this, it would be a new tea. It would only be a holiday blend. Um, but let me know what you think about that. Does the idea of a holiday plum tea interest you? All right. I think Kim has weighed in. She's interested, but she's like, January. My fall is already booked. January. I've got Dominique who's really excited about a plum tea. That's awesome. So these are the things that happen. You know, you go to farmers markets where we set up weekly. You see what the produce is. You smell it. You like, and that just like, to pick up a plum and it smells like plum and they taste delicious. How could you not want that? But plums are typically a very holiday, Christmas, Thanksgiving time fruit. There was a lot of, like, you know, plum puddings and things like that. Growing up in New England, plums were very popular in that kind of like fall wintry season. So Diane is saying January as well. So I mean, and that's fine. Sugar plum fair tea. Oh my goodness. You know what, Diamond? I might just have to use that name. I might just have to use that name. But okay, well, if I know there's some interest, I am looking to put that kit together. And the idea is, you know, it's fun to drink the teas. And I'm one that I have my favorites, you know, Serene Sunrise, Summer Kiss, um, Morning Irish on Time. Like I like, well, and Harmony. And then I start to think, and I'm like, but I really like this one. It's because sometimes you're in the mood for one kind of tea. But again, creativity, don't be limited just by putting peach nectar in your summer kiss tea because it's got peach in it. It's okay if you want to do some plums. It's okay if you want to add some raspberries. It's okay if you want to change it up a little bit. I know that other people add things. Diane has said before she's had lemon zinger and she's added rosemary to it. Don't be afraid to experiment and be creative with your teas and everything like that. The biggest thing is that you enjoy it, and you enjoy drinking it and doing different things. So, any other questions? Anything else? Any other comments? It's always amazing to me when I have the piece of peach right here, how much more I taste the peach because I smell the peach right there. It's one of those things. All right. Well, if that's all, next week we're going to be talking about another tea. And I did have a question earlier today that came in, like, how close are we for the oolong? The co-op that I'm getting one of my oolongs from had a shipping issue, and it was supposed to be in. So I'll order, when I go to try a new tea, I'll only order about an ounce of that particular tea. just enough for us to do it. And then I order kind of like like as a wholesaler, I can order just a tiny bit so that I can try it, make sure I'm going to like it, make sure I want it, and then I have to put my bigger order in. And so when I went to put the bigger order in, it was supposed to be here Friday, and then it was supposed to be here yesterday, which is Saturday, and now I think it's coming in on Tuesday. Welcome to the life of shipping. So that is just, I'm just waiting on that so that I don't give it out to my tasters, like just two of my tasters and not all of my tasters. But that one is ready. The recipe has been written down. It is ready to go. I just need more of the one of the other oolongs to come in and finish that up. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for your input on some of the things. Please feel free to enjoy. Summer's not over. Everybody's starting to get ready for back to school and everything, but summer's not over yet. So it's still good to drink summer kiss tea and make sure you go outside and enjoy your family. And we will see you next Sunday at 6 p.m. Central Time. I hope you have a wonderful week. We'll see y'all later, everybody. If I can get my mouse to go.